Ciao. Okay. And so let's start live stream. Start live stream. Wow. Eccoci. John Brown. Okay, start live stream. I'm missing a little bit of sound. Say something. I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Scusi, sorry.
Operator error. Okay.
No, I just didn't have the thing on.
It's typical.
So it's just, hey.
What is this, your seventh one now?
Well, see. Hi, Christine.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi, Christine.
Hey.
Yeah.
This is
How's it going?
This is my third meeting of the day.
Oh my goodness.
No, the first one was for a wedding that I was faithfully wearing.
And I will make my apologies now. I'm eating lunch.
Okay. Well, it is that time, I think. At least on that part of the world, it is.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see.
For you, my brother.
Okay. So.
Hopefully everybody's had a good week.
Yeah, it's been
pretty good. Good as can be expected, I think.
Exactly.
Really enjoyed our conversation last week.
Yeah.
When I got off that call, I was like, wow, we covered so many different things. It's so interesting to hear everybody's perspective, and Christine working with the youth groups was really, really, really cool to hear. Christine, what is your ministry there in Geneva? Like, what church are you with? And
well, I am a member of the Episcopal Church in Geneva and attend Emmanuel Episcopal in Geneva. I've had a number of different incarnations here in Geneva, work-wise. I wouldn't really say vocationally. I think the vocation is consistent, but I've worked for the church. I now do some volunteer work and ministry for the church, mostly with the young adults right now. And also our Geneva Gospel Choir is in partnership with that church and other churches. And so those are the two foci. And I'm also involved on a volunteer basis with an ecumenical kind of renewal movement called Curcio, which is not usually ecumenical, but in Geneva it is. And so I'm working with that as well. And then I work for globeethics.net, which is an NGO promoting ethics in higher education and ethics for a sustainable future. And so I've started that this year. And over the years, I've worked in other teaching and NGO capacities.
So what do you think of the new EU Pass program? Christine.
You know what? I don't believe I know about it. Tell me, educate me.
Oh, okay. So
How is it that I don't know?
They're restructuring the program to provide educational benefits and employment opportunities. But they take your CV, whether you're in Italy or Portugal or wherever you're at, and they distributed it through an employment network all across the EU to help you find employment and other opportunities for work and some educational benefits.
So what's it called, John?
It's called EU Pass, I think is what they named it.
Okay.
It's called EU Pass.
Hi.
What might be called the EU? Yeah, EU Pass. Or it might be called because it's EU Pass thing. It's EU Pass.
Yeah. Okay. Like the Eurorail. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think that's interesting. Switzerland is in an interesting location because there are some agreements. We're not part of the European Union, but then
right.
we're somehow we have lots of agreements. So there have been, but with the European Union, so
yeah, the legal term is memorandum of understanding.
That's a start. That's a start.
And, yeah.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
There have been some obstacles to education. Where some of those Europe-wide opportunities, some Swiss were cut off from it. With some of the recent developments, and so I think this looks like it's swinging back in the other direction a little bit. So that'll be interesting to investigate. But, we're working on, this NGO is working on becoming a higher education institution itself. And so looking into all those accreditation issues and of course, paying attention to how COVID is affecting higher education all over the world. And it is affecting it dramatically, as we know, as we see in the news, all the questions on the table and all the choices people are beginning to make. So we were already doing some. We were in the process of developing online offers. Have a kind of training of trainers model, which is blended education, and I think that's going to that approach is going to increase, as a result of all of this. So it's kind of it's a little bit worrying, the impacts of all this on higher education. But on the other hand, higher education has been kind of a mess for a while. So maybe this will give us a chance to be creative and be more intentional. So that's what Globe Ethics is trying to do, to come in and say, as we look at changes and some redefinitions of how education does or is or should or could work. Let's not neglect the ethics. Let's put that in the core. In the core of the thinking and the core of the education ultimately.
So the NGO is called Global Ethics.
Globeethics.net.
Okay, I will check them out. Benvenuti, Dr. Brown. Go ahead, Christine. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say hi to Brenda.
No, also it's the website, globeethics.net is the website too. So
okay.
Yeah.
Nehemiah, if I might make a suggestion for you, my brother, Mr. Narrator, MC, Center of Attention, you might want to consider circulating the addresses and contact information of your group here. Just a thought.
there is a message board for those that want to share and want to be shared, that you can drop a message.
John, I'm gonna find you on Facebook, right? Can I find you on Facebook?
Yes, you can find me on Facebook. You can also find me on LinkedIn. I would be happy to add you to the other 1,300 contacts I have on LinkedIn. Because that's really where all of my real background information and stuff exists, and corporate stuff. So it's John Brown at J. Milton Group. So if you put that in on LinkedIn, and of course I'll pop up on Facebook as well. Just go to Nehemiah's friend page and click it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I am. That is.
I'm going to continue the discussion about education because it's an integral part of the social evolution. However, I just wanted to spike it a little bit.
Are you recording?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
it's fading in and out.
Yeah, am I fading in and out? So
I don't see the thing, and I usually see.
So which? Hang on a second. Okay. So as I was saying, can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? If you can't hear me, wave. Okay, so I was saying I wanted to. Okay, it just seems like we're both breaking up a tad. Yeah. Okay. So we'll give it a shot and see how far we can go with it. We talked about education within the social evolution. I was listening to a conversation with Dr. Fauci and Mark Zuckerberg, and I took a deep breath. I took a deep breath because I thought it was interesting what he said, but then I thought there was even more to it than that. He was explaining between the two of them, they were talking about why the Black and brown communities have been harder hit by the COVID-19 virus. And he was saying, I thought it was very interesting what he was saying. I was just riveted to the context. He said that the tendency is that most people of color, Black and brown, tend to work in work situations where they have to have hands-on and they have to be there. Under the COVID situation, there are a lot of people that have been kind of exempted to being in these hands-on situations. And so they can be at home smart working. And so he was saying that, most of these people, they're doing different kinds of jobs, or manual labor, or so on and so forth. Or they're working and cleaning the hospitals where the rest of the people work. So they can't do smart working because their professions do not allow them to do that. So they're always on the front lines because they're, it's blue collar, the preponderance of those people. And so if you add the underlying conditions to that, then you understand that it's kind of an easy target, that this community is hard hit, which means in essence also that when they're hard hit and they can't go back to school and so on and so forth, so everybody's at home and they don't have food and bread and all the other stuff that's coming in, so they kind of need a leg up. But I thought it was interesting that he pulled from there, because usually you don't hear people talk about relative to the how can I say it, the vocational choices or situations that have caused people to be more exposed to COVID. And I thought it was interesting what he said, and so he was saying that so what needs to happen is information needs to get out more in these communities, and there needs to be an active effort to cover these communities with information and taking a positive attitude, and they cannot risk taking the whole attitude, well, not wearing a mask. Okay, so you're on the front lines. If you're working at the McDonald's and the other places, if you're working any place that you can't work on your computer from home. Okay, so therefore you're definitely on the front line. And so he said that this was a big part of the problem with that affecting Black and brown people. And I thought it was very interesting. But then again, I thought that as true as it is, when you look at China and Korea and all those other people that are agrarian societies, and not everybody is smart working at home, they're working in the fields and they're working in other places where they're exposed to the environment and hundreds of people and so on and so forth. They have been able, in Korea and places like Japan, they've been able to get a hold of this simply because there's more testing, and there's more tracing, and there's an active effort of the leadership and the government to make sure that everybody is equal under that. It's not like they're willing to let okay, we can kiss the people that are 80s or the people of color or what have you going at. There's a general effort in the healthcare system that doesn't say like, what is the guy was saying? He was saying that he was Chuck Woolery, that was saying all the stuff that was a hoax until his son came down with COVID. It was tested positive, and now it's no longer a hoax. Okay, sadly but truly, that is the case. But you find out, and other people have been saying to me this week that to have a COVID test costs €100, $100 or something like that. Okay, people that don't have insurance cannot afford to spend $100 for a kit so they can take an exam. So this is where we go back to the whole thing of a healthcare system that is colorblind and not classist, and that you have a system that is for the people. And so, given that whole thing, we look at that in light of what's happening, or what could possibly be happening if all these kids go back to school, since they're forcing all these kids back to school. Yes. Yeah. Interestingly enough, the governor of Alabama, who was completely opposed to anything, she has come out gently insisting that people not be going out unless they got a mask on, not go anywhere unless they have a mask on. In Montgomery, Alabama, they were trying to um, decide, and so the mayor wrote an executive order insisting across the board, and they fought him tooth and nail until the same thing that happened with the governor of Alabama. She started seeing that when they wore the places where they wore the mask, there was a decrease in the number of cases, and the pressure that it was putting on the healthcare system began to be reduced. Montgomery has numbers. The governor of Montgomery has the numbers that bear up the fact that when they started insisting that people wear masks, that the numbers started to fall right away. I'm thinking that relative to education, I know here in Italy, people are saying you're getting all sides of it, but you're also getting people that are saying, yeah, 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 but are we willing to sacrifice our kids up on the altar for somebody who just wants to restart anything? Are we willing to really sacrifice that? And I say that's a good question, because that's going to be the rub relative to that. And yeah, go ahead. but it's I think it's interesting that when we talk about the whole idea of essential workers, because um, how can I say it? In fact, in fact, they're essential. They're essential, and you know, and so they may not be they're not able to sit at home and work from their computers and so on and so forth. For instance, the whole of Italy around the 9th of March went to, unless you're essential workers, you don't need to be out. Okay. So who are the essential workers that stayed there? The bakeries, the cooks, all the restaurants were not considered essential, so they shut them down. Okay, but all the supermarkets and all those people doing all that stuff with the produce and all of that, they were considered essential workers. However, so then we go back to the board talking about the essential workers, at least for here. Okay, immediately the quote unquote essential workers started to come down with COVID because a lot of them, how can I say it? They were treated like slaves and working under in substandard conditions and so on and so forth. But if they didn't go and pick those tomatoes would be rotting on the ground, and that's what was happening here. And so what you have is an enormous number of people who were those essential workers on the front line were people that came down with COVID. It's absolute. Yep. No, it's not a choice. Mhm. Hmm. I think it's rather interesting, this whole essential worker thing, because as much as I salute the doctors and the other people, hospitals, the people that work in the hospitals, there are more people that, how can I say it? If they didn't have the janitor, if they didn't have the nurse's aide, if they didn't have all those other people, the doctors and nurses wouldn't be doing anything. So I think that I'm definitely for this whole idea of opening it up a little wider for the essential worker. I think I'd like to appoint this to what we can do. What realizations can we do? Because the governmental thing, okay, it's going to be decided in a certain sense relative to all the people that we contact or we make contact with from a one-on-one situation where if you feel a certain kind of way, because believe it or not, a lot of people are still on the fence and it hasn't hit yet, or which means that they don't know anybody who's come down with COVID virus yet. That's just all it means, just that. And so as soon as you know somebody, you can put a name in it, you can say their name, then it's a whole nother story relative to, are you going to wear the mask? Are you going to walk out the door or whatever? And I'm noticing across the board that or at least in the United States, here it's a little different because I'm riding the tram, and you cannot put foot on the tram if you don't have a mask on. It's not happening. And you want to try it and see, don't they have a ride and kick your rear end off the tram. Okay, they've already made it clear, just like, I think it's interesting how the grocery stores have said, yeah, we respect it all and everybody and so on and so forth. But if you come up in here and you want to shop, you need to have a mask. And so what I think is happening is the shock treatment. the shark treatment, or we're finally arriving. It's a bit late in the game where, okay, so we've had like 200 and some thousand people to expire, relative to that. And the United States is doubling and tripling, and it's just, it's just ludicrous. But that it takes that much before, and I saw a situation that I thought was fantastic today. I saw a little girl and her father. They both had masks on. Okay, in Italy they say, well, you're 5 or 6. No, that father was not having his daughter come and get it from anybody else. He was protecting her, and she looked like she was breathing, decently. Just fine. It's a whole new habit that's having to happen, and so I think the thing that has to happen is when we look. We're back to the Samaritan again. Okay, who's our neighbor? Who's the other person that we're thinking about? So I'm having a meeting talking about a wedding, and I have my mask like down here, and the other couple is from somewhere else, and they're, thank God, a little distance, and I'm continuing to do one of these, kind of back up, and I know I got to carry on the conversation, but it was like, okay, God help me, okay, and we didn't touch, and we found a place that was, we could go out and talk and so on and so forth. But I was thinking the majority of the people that I'm seeing that are not wearing the mask are 20s, 30s, kind of like that. And I don't get it. I really don't get it. It's almost like, the buildings do have to come down before people realize that it's a war. They just have, buildings have to come down or whatever. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm, yeah, that's the issue. Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah. I think, I think what we're talking about, and I think it's justifiable to understand that we're talking about leadership. Okay, leadership is a principal thing, or lack thereof, and so pretty much what we're seeing is that we're going back to the board with who's really a leader and who's not a leader. I was listening to Judge Cuomo, not Judge, Governor Cuomo, and he was talking to the mayor of Atlanta, and he had entered into an agreement to send supplies to them. And I think what we're starting to understand that um, leadership is a choice. Leadership is a choice, and and if you're a parent, it's a choice to lead or not to lead. But there are the consequences. We're seeing that usually it was like, if you make a choice, and you have 10 years, 15, you don't have the time anymore. It's a time factor. It's like you're having to hit the ground, make the choice. Okay, so now what we're looking at, and I want to turn this back to the vision of the schools. Okay, so parents are trying to make up their mind. The one that I'm talking about is the folks, and I'm trying to wear my mask, and I saw an entire American family today in this. Uh, uh, they were about seven. Every single one of them had a mask on, and I just wanted to I just wanted to give a high five, for that, because it's like you can no longer allow other people to make your decision, your leadership, situations, because it does come down to you. Okay, so given this situation where the parents are struggling for the right decision, should I send my kids back to school, or should I not send my kids back to school? I think we're getting to the place where it's one of those things where you really need to make up your mind. You can't trust the person that's denying all of the scientific and sociological and all the other stuff information, and then just going on the political and economical situation, because if what's happening with the agricultural markets is that they shut all those things down, and so on and so forth. So now they don't have the workers. So many workers have come down with COVID. Okay, they cannot go and do the tomatoes and all that. California was hit, it's like they can't do it anymore. Okay, those were your essential workers. You played them as if they weren't essential, but those essential workers also have families. So it's like I think we kind of need to look at the spectrum where the leadership goes, the leadership spectrum. So we're looking at the nuclear family, or the family in general. Then we go to the next level. It's like the next level is the same. It's like the people you need to decide. You're not having time to figure out if the guy in the White House or the guy in the Capitol is out for your interest, because we've seen that they will. And I'm just reminded, I'm still waiting for my $1,200 of stimulus, and I haven't received it. and I haven't received it yet. And so in Canada, they're giving them 985 every like 2 weeks or something like that. And so after this first capital outlay by the American government, they're saying, "Whoa, okay, we don't know, we're not sure if we can give that up anymore to our people." And they've thrown money at these corporations, which to me is just like outrageous for that. But I want to see if we can focus on the school issue, because it is an issue. It is a definite issue that I think needs to be talked about, uh, and we need to have an opinion, especially those of us that work with young people. Christine, so what's your take on it? Okay, Christine. Okay, so what do you think about it, Christine? Turn your mic on. We see you soon. Okay, so we'd rather have this. We'd rather have the sound if necessary. Okay, okay. So Christine, turn your video off and turn your audio on. Okay, there you go. And, and there you have it. Yeah, go ahead. Go, Christine. Okay, we're talking. What we're talking about is the whole. Okay, we hear you. Okay. Well, John, can I interrupt you a minute? They are not going to give they are not going to give those people the money. They already know. They are not going to give them any money. Okay, if they were going to give them money, they would have given them even more money than they were going to do before. Okay, I think I don't think we have the time. It's like Patrick Henry said, you know, when the government does not function anymore, it's time to turn it on and make it work. And I think this is one of those times. It's like, okay, you're okay, Madame DeVos. That's deciding. Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. So I'm saying that yeah. So anyway, so it's like Madame DeVos. Okay, if you know that these people do not mean you any good, you know that you can see it. You can see it every single day, which means that you cannot follow that line because you don't stand just for yourself. It's like I'd like to see. Listen, listen. Now, and I think at least three-quarters of the people on this panel know what Andrew Brown was like. Andrew Brown would not have her kids go to school like that. My father would put his collar on, his preaching, take off his dungarees for building houses, and go and see about that. He would not have that. And I think we're going back to that point. It's a direct hit. It's like your direct responsibility for your children. You cannot abdicate that and say, okay, the governor says that, you know, and then you're looking, okay, in California, Governor Newsom is saying, I'm not going to say that, hell no, excuse me, we are not sending our kids back to school. Okay, and then you get the governor in Florida saying, well, everything needs to open. And then all of a sudden, the day after, they got double and triple of what they have. It's like, okay, so wait a minute. Okay, so are we still going to listen to them, or is the voice of God saying, you have a decision. You need to choose who you're going to follow. Okay, because it's just not you, but it's all those ones that have been given in in your responsibility. And what it's like how can I say it? Christine, are you there? Can you hear us? Just talk. I don't think she can. But okay, Anna Elizabeth, I would like to hear what you, since you're the teacher amongst us, right on the front lines. Can you what would you have to say relative to this? Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Mm. 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 Yeah, we can hear you. Go. Go, Christine. Go. See. It's see. Yeah. This. Yeah. Yeah. But how? But what? But come from beneath. It's gotta go back from exactly. It's gotta come from. And if the parents cannot afford to miss this one, okay, that it's to the detriment of their children and their future to miss this time to decide. And so, as much as you want to, because what's happening with a lot of the school boards, they're being held hostage because they, according to the administration, if they don't send kids back to school, they're threatening to cut off completely the support, the educational support for those areas, which to me I think is just ludicrous that one would even consider something like that. But mind you, even under segregation, they didn't cut it off. How can I say it? They didn't cut it off. They didn't with all of what was going on that. They didn't cut it off. Well, so so pretty much what you're saying is that which has been rather convenient for the last few decades is people have decided that democracy doesn't mean that you have to participate. But we're seeing now that this whole idea of the democracy means that you must participate and there's no option. There's no option. And even more so, if you consider the consequences of not participating, then you can just see it. You don't have a choice. It's like choose today who you're going to serve. That really comes down to it. And my heart goes out to the parents, but I think a lot of parents are just saying, we're not moving. Okay, the other people have vested interest, which is what we begun to see, that the politicians more and more have vested interest for not doing the right thing. So they have the lobbies, which when the 45 came in, he was talking about, we should cut out the interest groups. Okay, but we have the preponderance of the reason why we're at where we're at now is because of the whole interest situation. And we look at the kind of leadership that we have. It's not just in Italy. It's just not just in the United States, but it's also in Italy. We have the premier, who is really the person holding the power. And so he's saying that we're not rushing to send our kids back to school. And the opposition that's a little to the right of the game, they're saying that, we have to get our businesses started again. We got to do this. We got to push, get Italy started. And I'm just thinking, are you crazy? Are you absolutely crazy? Okay, so you put that many people out, and so what they're having to deal with is that if people come to my church now, okay, before they can walk up in the door, I have to have, whenever they allow me to open it, okay, so right now, the people that own the building are saying, we don't want to take that responsibility. However, when and if they open, I've got to have the gun that takes the temperature. Like when I walked into Sephora and I was looking for these little cotton things for the face, the guy before, bam, It was like, got to take a temperature before you walk up in here. You not only have to have a mask, but we want to know what your temperature is because we don't want to spread this around. And so I think what's happening is people are having to take a hard line, okay, on this that's going on, and they've got to push the thing because the quote unquote leadership that is supposed to do it is not doing it. It's just doing it. Yeah. Okay. That's, that's mhm. No. Mhm. Yeah. Hang on, John. Hang on, John. Okay, one of the churches here that was rambunctious to say, we don't care, we're gonna do it anyway. Okay. So they were like full of the spirit and so on and so forth. The powers that be, the police walked up into that and they started to give it out tickets to the individual parishioners. Okay, 2,000 euro for the church itself. Okay, there was no social distancing in there because we all love Jesus and we got to be together. Okay, in a few words, shut it down, shut it down, shut it down, and they have to pay, and and the whole thing, and I don't know, I don't know if people are really seeing that it's just that complicated in the U.S. In U.S. You were saying, yeah, Too close. Social distancing. It is it's social distancing. Seriously. I'm telling you, I, yeah, so do we. Right. Absolutely not. In fact, all right. Christine, are you there? Say, yeah. We just want to. We have. We want to. Okay. Were you going to say something? Okay. Okay. Go sit. Go talk. Speak. Speak. Hmm. So Christine, can I throw this out? We are at 3 minutes, 8:30-ish. Okay. What can we do with this group to facilitate some kind of change? I'll throw it. Is that what you're saying, Brenda? Ah, okay. No. My point is that what can we do? And you said that we could dovetail a lot of what she's talking about doing uh, from a how can I say it coming like a support base. What anyone else have any suggestions? Because okay, this is just a personal thing. In the city of Charlottesville, um, whenever anything happened, that they would always put a group together and they would have a discussion, and they would always have these groups that would meet. And I was, oh God, another one, okay, and it was always okay. Now, when we talked enough, can we get some action? Can we do something with this rather than okay, we have a feasibility study or something like that? Okay, so then after that, after everybody's forgotten whatever the heck we were having the meeting for, the group for, okay, then we come up with something. But so I would like to see if we could come up with a situation where actually the next one I would like to go live on Facebook. Rather than do it in this, I would like to go live and open it even more so since I figured out how to do it. Okay. Uh, And I think there's stuff that we can do, and I think these are valid questions that maybe people are seeing. I think for me, the most prolific thing that's happened in this conversation today was when Anna Elizabeth said, "I know that in the public schools that they will come with a power base that will affect a change, but she's not so sure that in the private sector there will be the same kind of thing where it's more relative to the students, but relative to the business of education." I thought that's powerful because we automatically think, it's when I was teaching that, yeah, private school, sure, yeah, are they going to send their kids? But then I remember what it was like teaching at a private institution. And it was like, no, it's business, okay? And that's $10,000 or however much that we can't afford to lose. And personally, I know from my alma mater, University of Virginia, it's like, we don't want to miss that money, okay? And so people, so now all schools have a voice, and I think Harvard even has a teaching thing that you can get a teaching certificate online. They sprouted that out in an instant after COVID. Actually, it was going on before, but they pushed it to the forefront. And I have a feeling that a lot of institutions are going to do the same thing. So we're going to see a lot more of the education on the internet, which mind you, that before a lot of the education on the internet was free. You could take a course and get a certification. It's not going to be, they're going to put a dollar sign on that. They're going to make you pay for whatever it is that you. I'm sure. Yeah, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. But a lot of the universities before, like for those people that are of a certain age, they say, yeah, come on, yeah, it's like I'm free. And okay, because they've got to find a way that if those live bodies are not not going to be sitting in Capitol Hall, okay, they got to find a way to get that same Monet, okay, that was keeping Capitol Hall and all those lovely buildings on the grounds of the University of Virginia that require an upkeep. Okay, so the point is that what are we willing to sacrifice in the going ahead? Because I think it really does boil down to what Dr. King says about, in order to go forward, they're gonna have to repent. There's gonna be some repentance going on because they're just stuff that's just that the basis is just alive. Okay, so getting the basis of what we're doing right, and then being able to build again is going to be the requirement for going forward. Because how can you go forward with this when you're spending all that money to send your kids to school, and then you realize that your child is just a number, okay? And and it's supposedly a great education, but the teachers are freaked out and the students are freaked out, and they're studying more and they're hearing more than the administration is relative to that. So a lot of the schools, I'll tell you from my experience, they're going to bring in the movers and the shakers, the big business people like our president, that they're just head of corporations and they know how to get it running and so on and so forth. We're going to see a lot of those, and those people that are genuinely in support of a more scientific and humane reason and preparation for kids going back to school. I think a lot of those people they're going to disappear. They're going to disappear unless the parents come up and say, nada. It's just going to be that. It's like you know. It's I remember when what's her name, Nancy Reagan said, "Well, just say no." It's like, and so we are to the point. It's like, hey, just say no, and you know you're going to have to decide, because that no is going to be the future right there. Absolutely. And on that note, if anybody else would have something to say, who wants to close? Christine, you want to say something? All right. Christine, Christine. Yeah. Honing down, we're more specific. Yeah, yeah, we hear that. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, it sounds like that smart thing. Yeah. Plug some other people in. Yeah, I think, mhm, yeah, fine, fine. Okay. And Elizabeth, you want to say something before we close out? Okay. Okay. So we're good. And so next Friday, we'll keep doing it. And so, like I said, I'd like to go on the Facebook. I have this module that allows us to do it from Facebook, and then we can open it to other people, and so on and so forth. Okay. Okay. So you were saying, Anna? Okay. So Anna wants to speak with. Okay. So Anna, you'll be speaking with Brenda. Brenda, hang on, because Anna wants to talk to you. Okay. Okay. So if we go off this, then you guys can go ahead and can hook up on Facebook. Okay. 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 Ciao. Okay. Ciao. Ciao. Bye. Hey, Christine.
Hey there.
So if you go home, when would you go home? If you go home, when would you go?
It's gonna be mid-August to mid-September,
Oh, okay.
either 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
And hopefully you won't have complications like Lucianne had these complications that because she came from Germany, she had to go into 14 days of quarantine. So
Well, I think that in Switzerland, we have 10 days of quarantine upon arrival. But one thing I'm wondering about, which is not great for me and my work, but I just think, yeah, I need to catch you up on some of the challenges I'm having.
Oh, okay.
On that front another time,
sure.
and not standing at the bus stop in front of the building. But,
Okay.
but that being said,
I'm here, so you know if you want to give me a call, just give me a ring.
I wanted to just touch base with you that I cannot make it to rehearsal tonight.
Okay.
And also I have to apologize for not getting that thing to you. I actually didn't that I couldn't find the accompaniment, and I finally got it from Maryland.
Ah,
And
okay.
I did do one version, but I wasn't happy with it, and I thought I would just do it again and try and like commitments I've gotten over.
Okay.
So I've lost the plot a little bit, but I will get back on the train.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's summertime and I'm not really pushing. I don't have a rush on the second one.
Yeah.
The first one, the most important one, we found out that then. So I think it's an easier thing to do. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so give me a call when you want to. Okay.
All right.
Take care. Okay, ciao, ciao.
You too.